For the last 30 days, I've been on a mission to see if you can get shredded at 43 years old. No shortcuts, no crash diets, just a real strategy to see if you can still do this after the age of 40. Because let's be real, most people think that after the age of 40, your metabolism crashes, you can't build muscle anymore, and it's all downhill from there. But is all of that actually true? I've been following a step-by-step process for the last 30 days, and in today's video, I'm going to give you that exact playbook so you could do this for yourself. Spoiler alert, I've lost over 7.5 pounds in the first 30 days and counting. As you can see here, the progress photos are looking strong, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. These 30 days have not been perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I've made some mistakes, I've hit some setbacks, and I've learned some hard lessons. And make sure you stick around to the end of the video because at the end, I'm gonna give you my top 3 takeaways from the last 30 days, what's working, what didn't work, and what I'd do differently if I were starting over again. In case you're new around here, my name is Mackie. Thank you for checking out this video. Over the last 15 years, I've been a fitness coach, a health coach, and I'm excited that you're here. We're gonna test out my methods that I've been using on my clients and see if they work for me. But before I give you the playbook, I think it's important for you to have a little bit of context. Now, this isn't my first time cutting weight. I've done serious weight cuts twice before in my life. The first time was back in high school, and I was using the popular fat burners at the time, Rip Fuel, Xenadrin, anything with ephedra in it. And we all know that those are definitely not safe, so I do not recommend that you go that route. The second time was a few years after college. I got into group fitness for the first time, was doing a lot of HIIT training, got into a plant-based diet, felt great on that, and I lost a lot of weight, got shredded, got ripped, but it wasn't a sustainable lifestyle. I wasn't necessarily going about it in a measured way. I was just working out really hard and eating a little bit of food. So of course I put myself into a calorie deficit, which will always work for losing weight, but it's not necessarily going to be the most sustainable. So this third time around, 2025, I'm 43 years old. I'm a lot older than I was in my previous weight cuts. I'm really concerned about maintaining as much muscle mass as possible because it's harder to build muscle at this age. And also, I'm looking to do it in a sustainable way because if you start a diet and it's not something that you can sustain for the long haul, there's really no point in doing it because you're just going to revert back to your old habits. At least that's how I see it. So what am I doing differently this time? First, no crash diets. I'm going to go about it in a measured way. I'm going to track my nutrition for the first time in my life, basically. I'm going to maintain strength training. I've been lifting weights since I was 16 years old, so this is not necessarily anything new, but I am putting extra emphasis on hypertrophy and building as much muscle as I can, or at least maintaining what I have. And another big difference between today and my previous times is that we have some amazing drugs that can help out with weight loss, like GLP-1s, peptides, testosterone replacement. All of these things can benefit you in losing weight. But for this challenge, I'm not going to use any of those things. I want to see if I can do it naturally without any assistance. I think those things are great for those who need it, but I don't necessarily need it. I had a blood test done recently and my levels are all pretty good. So there's no reason for me to be going on any of those drugs. So 30 days ago, I started working on this playbook. We're doing an Ultra Life challenge right now, and I decided that I would join in on the challenge. The challenge itself is 8 weeks long, but I decided I'm gonna do it for 100 days to see where that gets me at the end of 100 days. So we are 30 days in. I'm gonna show you at the end of this video how it's been going for me. But before we get to that, here's exactly what we are doing. So if you want to do this for yourself, you'll have everything you need to do it. One of the things that I found over the years is that having a simple plan is really the key to being able to do it for the long haul. Consistency always trumps really big ups and downs. So I find that having a simple plan allows you to be more consistent over time. If you're avoiding having these really big high peaks and low valleys, you're going to have much better results. And that's what I've seen with my clients, at least. So There's 3 elements to this plan. Element number 1 is the obvious. It's the fitness side of things. I have a goal of strength training for 3 times per week. That's the minimum amount of strength training workouts that I'm trying to get each week. Usually it's somewhere around 4, maybe 5 if I'm feeling ambitious. And this winter it's been very snowy, so I've been going to the gym a little bit more. But overall, 3 times minimum strength training per week, 30 to 45 minutes at a time. Typically, full body workouts for 3 times a week is ideal, so that way you can hit each muscle group multiple times per week and get the most bang for your buck. The second and third elements are things that I'm looking to do daily. Number 2 is daily movement. So this is movement outside of your workouts. I measure this in the form of steps. My goal every day is to hit 10,000 steps. Unless I do some sort of cardio activity that doesn't involve steps, like swimming or cycling or even a hot yoga class. So if I do something like that for 30 minutes or more, then my goal drops down to 5,000 steps a day. And my third element that I'm looking to do on a daily basis is to track my nutrition. Now, tracking your nutrition is not the easiest thing. Thankfully, there are a lot of tools today that will help out with your tracking. And I've actually found a way that makes it somewhat addicting. That's one of my big takeaways from this challenge. So make sure you stick around to the end to see how you can make tracking a little bit better, a little bit more addicting. Now with my nutrition tracking, I do have goals for calories and protein, but I don't necessarily care if I hit those goals every single day. I look at it on a longer term basis. When in doubt, zoom out. If you go over your calories on any given day or you miss your protein goal, there are plenty of chances throughout the week to make up for it. So if I have a big Saturday night dinner, then I can make up for that over the course of the week. As long as I hit my caloric deficit on a weekly basis, I'm happy. So that is it. That's my playbook. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. And it's nothing groundbreaking. You might be tempted to turn the video off now because it's nothing that you haven't heard before. But in my experience, that is what's actually going to get results. It's the consistency over time. It's being simple with what you're trying to do, and then just sticking with it over the course of time. So how is it going for me? At the beginning of this challenge on January 1st, I weighed 178 pounds and I was roughly 15% body fat according to my bioimpedance scale, which is not necessarily the most accurate, but it does give you trends over time. Over the last year or so, it's been all about performance. So we did a lot of really long trail runs. I was eating 100 grams of carbs per hour during those trail runs. We went to Italy, and over the course of the last year, I just gradually started to add a little bit of weight. Not a big deal. It was all about making sure that I was nourishing my body for all of the really big efforts that we were doing. But over the course of that time, I probably had some excess calories in there and just started to build a little bit of extra weight that I wanted to release coming into this new year. I haven't done resolutions in a really long time, so this was a first for me in probably 15 years where I've done a resolution for myself, and I got really excited about it, which is a big piece of a puzzle. If you're excited about what you're doing, then you are much more likely to stick with it. After the first 30 days of this 100-day challenge, I have lost 7.5 pounds. I've had some really good successes. I've lost roughly 1% body fat. My strength in the gym is relatively the same, if not better, on most things. So everything is going really well in terms of the results. But I've definitely not been perfect in following my plan. And that's the beauty of this playbook, is that it allows some adaptability. You've already seen a little bit of adaptability in the idea that you don't necessarily have to get 10,000 steps in a day as long as you do something else. And I find that that freedom, that flexibility inside the plan allows you to stick with it over the long haul. So what are my biggest struggles that I've hit so far? First is the step goal. Even though I have that caveat where you can do 30 minutes of cycling or 30 minutes of swimming, I have not hit my step goal every single day. It's been a real struggle. I was sick for a couple weeks, and then we've had lots of snowstorms in Colorado, and we've been running this Ultra Life Challenge. So we have lots of new clients in the Ultra Life system that I've been working with, and it really does not allow me to get all of my steps in. So I'd say I probably have hit my step goal 5 out of 7 days in a week, sometimes less, 4 out of 7 days in a week, but every single day I wake up and I try to hit that goal. Over the last week, I've been able to be a little bit more consistent because we got ourselves a new treadmill. And that's my first takeaway from this is find ways to make it easy for yourself. So we got a walking pad where I can wake up in the morning and get 1,000 steps without having to go outside in the dark. And that's been a huge game changer for me. My second learning from this is that it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to hit 7 out of 7 days on your movement goals to see results. Especially this time of year in January, you see a lot of people who are going on these all-in challenges like 75 hard, where you have all of these different things that you have to do on a daily basis. And I think that there's some really good things about that in building discipline, building consistency, and building that mindset of working hard. But at the same time, if you miss a day, or if you miss 2 days or 3 days, then those systems, they seem to fall off. It's really an all or nothing approach, where if you hit it, that's great. If you miss it, well, I guess I'm done. I'll try again next year. So with my a little bit softer mindset, I think it works better over the long haul. My goal is to stack more wins than losses. Think of it like a baseball season where there's 162 games. Even the best teams in the league have 62 losses over the course of a year, but they've had 100 wins. So they've stacked more wins than losses, and that will get them into the playoffs. The second big mistake that I made was that I got sick, which wasn't a mistake, but I got sick and I tried to come back a little bit too soon. Early on, it was the first week of the year, so I was excited to get my workouts in, but unfortunately, I got sick right away, and then I was immediately out, which could easily derail a system. So I was like, all right, I need to get back into the gym. I need to get back to working out as quickly as possible. But unfortunately, that led to a setback. So I started to feel a little bit better. I went to the gym, and then I immediately got sick again, which put me out for another week. So I missed a couple weeks of workouts where I just could not get into the gym. So you've seen already 2 out of the 3 steps of this plan I have not done that well with in the first month of this year. My workouts have suffered because of sickness. My daily movement has suffered because of sickness and also the weather. So 2 out of 3 are down, but yet I've still seen really good results at the end of the day. And that is because of the nutrition. So that's another takeaway that I've had here, is that it is all about the nutrition. A lot of people say it's like 80% nutrition, 90% nutrition, and I 100% believe that, seeing the results that I've had, because even though I missed workouts, even though I missed daily movement, I have tracked my nutrition every single day. I've gone over on calories every once in a while, but I was always at my calorie goal for the week. Another big takeaway that I've had over the course of this first month is the power of community. Like I mentioned, we have a group who is doing this Ultra Life Challenge with me right now, and just seeing what they're doing has given me motivation to stick with it and has helped me stick with my own plan. And it's been really great. So if you are interested in following along, by all means, you can do this on your own. But if you would like to have some coaching, some guidance, our 3 workouts per week on our app, then check out the link in the description below. You can sign up for the Ultra Life Challenge at any time. It's a 6-week challenge. And then from there, I believe that you'll be set up to be able to sustain this lifestyle for the long haul. Let's summarize everything that I've learned over the first 30 days of my 100-day challenge. The first is nutrition is key. Even though I haven't been able to do my movement and my workouts, my nutrition has kept me on track, and I've been feeling really great. Now, there's 2 things that have really helped me with nutrition, and the first is meal prepping. So I've been getting really into meal prepping and setting up my meals for the week. That way, during a busy workday, I can just go heat up something that I know is going to be roughly 500 calories with 40 grams of protein. A little bit of preparation goes a long way when it comes to sticking to your plan. So if you have something available, you're much more likely to make that good decision than if you're scrambling and trying to figure out what you're going to have for lunch. The second thing that's really helped me is I've been using an app called Macro Factor. And this is not an affiliate link. I do not have any relation to them, and I pay for their app. If anything, I'm just a big fan of what they're doing. So Macro Factor uses a daily check-in. So you weigh yourself on a daily basis, and in combination with the data that you give it of what you're eating, it will figure out what your total daily energy expenditure is and figure out what your caloric intake should be based off of your goal. What makes this really addicting for me and my brain is that the more data that you can give it, the more accurate it's going to be over time. So I love when things are accurate. I love data. I love all of that stuff. And I think it's really interesting. So I want to give it the best information possible. So that means I'm tracking, even on days when I know I'm going to go over my calories, I'm going to track every single thing that I eat. I've made it really simple with recipes on the app, and the weigh-in is really easy as well because we have a smart scale that talks to Apple Health, which talks to the Macro Factor app. So we're keeping things really simple, really streamlined, and I've got a good system for that. And if you're interested in hearing how I use Macro Factor, drop a comment below, let me know. And I would love to make a video on how I've simplified macro factors, and also really that works for a lot of the different big calorie tracking apps out there. And my last takeaway, and I think the most important takeaway, is when in doubt, zoom out. I had a few days where even though I was sticking to my calories, my weight started to rise a little bit. Maybe 3 days in a row, my weight was rising, which was weird. And I started to freak out a little bit. But then I looked back over the last 2 weeks, I had lost probably 5 pounds at that point. So even though I had gained back 2, overall, I was down 3 pounds. So I still had lost weight since the beginning of the challenge at that point. And then magically the next day, I don't know what it is, but what they call a whoosh happened, and I lost 3 to 4 pounds. So those couple pounds that I had gained came right back off. I think it's a water weight thing. And it just illustrates the importance of zooming out. Especially if you're tracking your weight on a daily basis, there's going to be days where it goes in the wrong direction. And you just need to zoom out, trust the process. And if over the course of 2 weeks, you're not seeing the results that you're after, then maybe that is time to make some adjustments. But stick to the plan, trust the process, zoom out, and things are going to be great. So anyways, let me know what your biggest struggles are when it comes to weight loss. I'd love to talk to you about them. If you have any questions at all, leave a comment below. Please like this video for the algorithm, subscribe to our channel if you found this interesting, and check out this video if you made it this far. I think you'll like it.